Subi, Arizona got a little bit of a scare from Utah Tech. Final margin of victory won't tell you, but the Trailblazers were hanging around a little bit in the first half, but still, all in all, a game where Arizona's freshmen once again shined. This time it was Koa Pete, Braden Burries kind of finished the job, but we'll break it all down here. I wouldn't say necessarily any panic on the Wildcats, especially after the week they had, the way they began the season. But we did hint at this a little bit in the preview that like, oh, maybe there's a little hangover there. But honestly, I would say it looked more just like some freakish shot making on behalf of Utah Tech for like 5 minutes. But I'll turn it over to you. Where do you want to start first with this game, and either what you learned about your Cats or any other big takeaways or storylines?
Yeah, I was a little surprised at the first half performance because I think I entering this game, I didn't think there was going to be a hangover from the Florida matchup because you're going home for the first
Mhm.
time, right? All season, and McHale Center is such a special environment and they feed off of that. And we saw it in the second half, but apparently there was a bit of a hangover. And I'll credit Utah Tech, man. They were making shots. And I know a lot of Arizona fans love to play the woe is me card, like, oh, it's crazy. It's always magnet ball and McHale Center. Like, maybe look inward a little bit over the course of the last 10 years or so. But I do credit Utah Tech, really. They got a few buckets, and you know what? Utah Tech's solid, and they have a win in overtime. They played 20 minutes of good ball in Tucson against a terrific team. Now I'm going to be a huge Utah Tech fan. They're going up to Tempe, I think, next game, and it is feasible that they win that basketball game against ASU because they are butt cheeks, let me tell you. But for Arizona, man, the one thing that stood out the most, Tobe Awaka, 18 boards. I believe that's a career high for Tobe. And look, we've seen him forged through the SEC fire through his time at Tennessee. And then last year, his debut season in the Big 12, going up against quality opponents. The guy is such a grinder. I know what I'm going to get from him on the margins. I know what I'm going to get in terms of contesting shots, in terms of battling for the rebound. He is going to get his tail on the floor for sure. But 18 boards, man. Salute to Tobe. He brought his lunch pail to a game where it's like, yeah, bring your lunch pail against the Florida front court. He ripped Ruben Chinyelu's jersey, but against Utah Tech at home, maybe you're like, you know what, I'm going to order some Jimmy John's, or I'm going to get like Uber Eats or something like that. No, didn't matter. 18 boards. Braden Burries, welcome to the party, my man. I was very pleased to see that. No panic over here after a poor game one, especially with Koa Pete going off. And I think, Riley, I had mentioned my biggest concern was like when you see your freshman brother in arms, when you're supposed to be lockstep and performing well simultaneously. That obviously didn't happen in Florida. So if I'm Braden Burries, possibly you're like, man, like maybe I'm a little bit more down on myself considering how great Koa was in that Florida game. He bounced back wonderfully, and this was a terrific spot. 18-3, 4 steals. Like, that means he's active, he's engaged. And I saw that in Florida too. Despite the
Mhm.
fact that he wasn't very good, he was rooting on his teammates. He was super into it, very, very engaged. I got a few others. I don't want to word ramble here or word vomit, so I'm going to kick
All
it
good,
back
man.
to you. What were some of the items that you had seen, or some of the takeaways, just personnel wise or attitude wise, for these cats?
Well, first, I'm still just like my mind is harboring on you could have gotten Uber Eats, you could have brought some Jimmy John's, but no. Tobe Awaka, he comes to
Bologna
his
sandwiches, man.
he comes to his home arena, even in a bye game, lunch pail in hand.
That's right.
No, but I think the freshmen again are the big takeaways here, and even to your point about Awaka, I I love how skilled and cerebral Koa Pete is to go along with the physical gifts, to go along with that linebacker body, to go along with the motor. Like there was a couple really nice high-low possessions between him and Awaka, which just makes me happy to see that they're not just asking Awaka to do the dirty work on the glass. They're still making sure he's getting his looks around the rim, and even just as a whole, I can't remember if I said this in the preview. I think I did, just in terms of the whole Arizona aesthetic, where I always gravitate to them and just love watching the way they play. I admire Tommy Lloyd a ton. I love his concepts. I love his offense. But the fact that it's 2025 and he's still finding ways to like make all these big men work and the ball movements crisp, it just seems like everybody knows where they're supposed to be. And you would have no idea. And I get that some of the defense struggled in the first half when Utah Tech was just making some insane shots. But from an offensive perspective, you would have no idea that like this team has a bunch of new pieces on it. I get they return how many starters from a Sweet 16 team? Bradley,
AD, yeah,
Del Orso, and I guess Awaka. Yeah, so
Owaka.
three starters, but I wouldn't say any of those three were stars last year. You know, like Awaka was an 8-8 guy who you love to have on your team, but you're not playing through him. Bradley for his career has been his best, like a 12-4 guy who's more
JV
pass
was the
first.
closest for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
JV and yeah,
Del Orso was someone where I think I almost had brushed him off as a non-factor going into this season, and I still loved Arizona because he's probably another big takeaway too. But we can get to him in a second. But with Burries, I want to continue to give him some love. Where, in addition to compete with the feel and being able to facilitate for his teammates, I thought Burry showed some of that as well. Finished with 3 assists, had that really nice play down the stretch with Krivas, where he found him rolling to the basket and sort of redirected the ball screen, found him streaking to the hoop, and of course with Krivas and his physical skills, just finished way above the rim. It's like, okay, Braden, I see you. You're more than just like a score first combo. You actually have a little bit of passing chops as well. And again, like we've seen Tommy Lloyd's best teams. They have multiple guards and multiple wings who know what to do with the ball in their hands. Whether you're thinking of Pella Larson or whether you're thinking of Dalen Terry, in terms of the guys who aren't the primary handlers but can still produce for you in that, it's like it just elevates the offense so much.
yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head there as well. And I'm glad you shouted out Anthony Delorso. He came back with a beard, Riley. So yeah, he's a returner from a Sweet 16, but he's completely different, man. He's
Mm-hmm.
bearded Delhi now. Uh, Wildly efficient, 6 of 10,
You're good.
18 points. He was awesome. Like he was really good. And Delorso, he may not have hit a bunch of three. He's supposed to be the shooter, right? But towards the end of that Florida game, he hit some clutch free throws, and he's the best free throw shooter on the team. I trust him at in any scenario. So it was nice to see him put the ball in the hoop. Really nice defensive effort, also I thought from Arizona for stretches. Only 5 assists for Utah Tech. So like that's not going to be able. It's not sustainable, right? Like it makes sense that they were within striking distance going into halftime, but then I don't know how many assists they have in the first half, and how many did they end up uh, in the game. The total was 5. So I mean, they didn't really share the ball very well. But
I mean, because you have
on
You have Madiba Owana aura farming for 5 minutes in the first half. Madiba Owana for that 5 minutes was hooping like the rent is due, as the kids say. He was hooping like he wants Tommy Lloyd to have his agent's number. Like he hit those couple threes that had that dunk. I guess it was just one three, but it felt like a massive three where it's like, who is this dude?
I
But then
know
you look at the stat line and he was, I think he finished like 3 for 10 for the game or something. But it was a special couple minutes for him.
it is kind of crazy though in this era of hoops, where if you're a player for a like a low team, right? You're like, hey man, I'm going to McHale Center. This is a possible tryout
Yeah,
for
right.
next year.
Right.
Like, how many times have we seen it where a coach is like, I want that guy. Keep an eye on him in the portal. But honestly, again, I go back to this. Like, I think Utah Tech is a tough out. Arizona just straight up couldn't miss. They shot nearly 60% from the field, right? Because if you really look at the comparisons, they weren't like the margins and the deltas weren't that different.
Mhm.
I thought Utah Tech held their own in the rebounding category. They got out rebounded by 10. All right. But again, it took 18 of them for Tobe Awaka to contribute that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, for sure.
What turnovers? Arizona had 12 turnovers and Utah Tech only or had 14. Like there were a lot of they played them even in some of these categories. It's just when you're in McHale Center and Arizona shooting 60%, they're damn near unbeatable. I'll take them
Right.
against some of the best teams in the entire country over the course of X amount of years. My last thing though, maybe it's because I'm a negative Nancy, I'm a doomsdayer, but I'm slowly but surely losing confidence in Mo Krivas. I really am. Like, I don't trust him in high leverage big time games. And now he's fouling out against Utah Tech in 17 minutes with 6 points and 4 total rebounds. Like is I did not expect him to be the third best big on the team. And through 2 games, we know who the alpha is, not only of
Mhm.
the front court, but of the team in Koa Pete, Tobe Awaka. Even though he didn't play down the stretch against Florida, which like I honestly thought he should have, I feel like the result would have been the same. But that's living in a hypothetical land. Mo Krivas did, and he had some good plays. But like I've been on record as saying this, Riley. I want Mo Krivas to put the ball in the hoop. I want him to be front court relief for Koa Pete because Tobe Awaka is not going to put the ball in the hoop, and that's not
Mhm.
his job. That is
Mhm.
not his job. So if it's not going to be you, Mo, who's next in line? Possibly your boy Aristode, possibly City Gay. Like I don't know, but the fact that I'm having this conversation, I'm feeling this. I'm slowly but surely waning on Mo Krivas, and they got UCLA in a week. All right, they got UCLA in LA on Friday, and this was the game in Phoenix last year where Krivas, I believe, went down. Like he played the first half or something against UCLA,
Mhm.
and he went down. Man, take on the challenge. Like I need Tommy Lloyd to challenge him
Yeah.
and say, step up.
I don't like that he switched to number 13. To me, I'm like, you need to write your own story because when I see you on the pick and roll with like the long arms and finishing with the big dunk, I'm just like, wait, how is Henry Vasar back in Tucson? Like,
It's a
right?
little embarrassing, dude. He stole your lunch last year when you went down for injury. You got Wally pipped.
You can't cosplay as Henry Vasar. What I can't even remember what number he wore last year, but when I saw him in this game, I was like, wait a second. I did for some reason it just didn't register when I watched that Florida game, but in this one I was like, Krivas is in 13 now? Like what is going on? Maybe in the Florida game we were just so fixated on Koa that like
Yeah, dude, I was
no.
not. He was 14.
He was 14 last year.
Yeah, I believe so.
If you're gonna change from like I'm not really a 13 guy. Like you got some like number do they have like number 4 still available? 6, you could go 6 like LeBron. Like I just say write your own story. Now I'm telling you to take LeBron from the Heat number, but he's number 7 maybe. Like there's options you could choose that are cooler than 13 and to actually distinguish yourself from the guy who stole your job last year, you know?
Doug, I don't care what uniform you wear. Can you get me double digit points at some point? That's what I'm looking for, man. So I know I know I say I don't make sweeping generalizations just yet, so I'm going to give it some time. But I please let it be known, Riley, I am losing confidence in Mo Krivas. But outside
I
of that, it was awesome.
I still have some stock in Krivas, but you're right. Like this is the time of the year where you want to start to see that potential become production. And this UCLA game feels massive for him because you're getting I mean, I'm assuming you would still consider them a rival, even though different conferences now. It's a game that still means something. I don't know if you've seen UCLA, but they haven't exactly been like world beaters against Eastern Washington and Pepperdine. I think they beat Pepperdine by single digits. They're susceptible, and Xavier Booker's their starting 5 man. If there's ever a matchup where it should be like Mo, we're gonna get you the ball. Like Mo, you have, I would say, a nearly elite floor general. Like I get Jaden Bradley has his flaws in terms of the jumper, and he's maybe not as aggressive as you want him to be in spurts, but he is an elite table setter, an elite like just a guy that pretty much every coach in the country would want to have on their team. Every fan in the country would like to have that kind of guy that you could lean on. He can feed you, he can get you opportunities, but you got to be the one to finish it, especially when you're going against Booker and this mid-major transfer whose name is slipping me, who's their backup big man that Tanner McGrath loves. Like you should be able to feast in this matchup, Mo.
Yeah, I agree. And look, when you talk about Jaden Bradley, man, this is where my insecurity is going to come out. He was left off the All Big 12 team, which I think is preposterous. So, yeah, every good game he has, I'm going to be like, kiss my rear end. Like, go prove him wrong, JB. Because I mean, obviously, ball knowers like you and a lot of other people are like, no, Jaden Bradley is a very good point guard. Even Tommy Lloyd, who doesn't really get too fired up and speak super highly of his players, was like, this seems ridiculous.
Mhm.
So the fact that he's not being recognized the way that he should. But yeah, I think it is going to be a massive matchup. It's going to be a fun one. Bill Walton, RIP, man. I know they should give some time, like a segment to Bill Walton for this one, but I'll tell you what. Last year, if folks remember, Arizona had UCLA dead to rights in that game, and then they just couldn't put the ball in the hoop for like 7 straight minutes or whatever it was. They completely floundered down the stretch.
Was that during like 'cause Arizona started like 6-5, right?
It was
Was it
like
during that stretch
during
or
the
was it
slow
later?
start. No, it
Okay.
was because it was sometime. I believe it was actually sometime in December. So maybe they came out of like a malaise. No, I don't know. That's a good question. I gotta look. I keep a 5-year journal actually, Riley. So maybe I'll go check out my journal. It's now filled with a lot more like family moments, and it's probably pretty embarrassing that I'm writing about college basketball in my 5-year journl. But alas,
Never
I got lines to fill. I'm excited for the UCLA game though.
Okay, so here's that loss. I just looked it up, but it put Arizona at 4-5. I can't
Dang, sub
believe
500. Yeah.
I can't believe y'all started out 4-5, got a 4 seed, and made the Sweet 16.
I told you, man, it was a like every game was kind of representative of their season actually as a whole. They would get down, but they fought back, which is not the first couple of years of Tommy Lloyd's tenure. I don't think they really fought. But they either boat raced you, like smacked you in the mouth, like
Hmm.
they won a ton of games, but the games that they lost, you kind of knew it was over, right? If they
Right.
were in a dogfight. But this time, yeah, 4-5 clawed all the way back. And you know what, dude? Like I no shame in losing to Cooper Flag and Duke. They probably should have been in the national title game.
Dude, they played them so well. I don't want to like get well. Yeah, we can get off. We can get a little off track. Hopefully, the Arizona fans start tracking with us. Caleb Love had an out of backpack. He put the backpack on and had an out of body experience. He was so good that game. I
Man,
just
he
wish
went down swinging.
I wish they could have gotten the win just to let him go out on top of Duke one more time. But
Yeah.
nothing you can do about it now. Really fun team. I would say any Arizona fan panicking about the slow start in the first half. I know, like you say, Subi, you have a little PTSD anytime you get your hopes up for a Final Four. But like this team is really freaking good. You're gonna have games like that with in the bye game portion of the schedule. Just brush it off and keep going.
I'm not worried about any dude. Tommy Lloyd's real tough to beat. What November through February.
He's gonna get over those demons at some point.
All right, man. I appreciate you being confident. Until that happens, I'm gonna be over here, not having any faith. Sorry, guys.